Okay, perfect. Who else would like to click on something? Just for fun.
Inventory.
Inventory, great. Let's make sure we're on there and we'll take a look, see what we have. So we'll go to the map. So you're talking the general inventory pool?
Right.
There, cool. Okay, perfect. So what's it around? And what's that going to kind of give you an idea about?
Well, obviously it's around me buying it and then how much I owe and how much is in stock and what actually are what I have in there, the line items.
Okay, correct. That's perfect. And so what we do is basically we have incoming pieces coming in from a vendor usually, okay? Or you could be making it on your own, you're manufacturing. Eventually, it ends up in your inventory. And then in order to sell it, we use the shopping cart, the invoice or a quote, and then we basically grab it and pull it out this way. Does that make sense? And then eventually it goes out the door. So if we click on this right here, it basically would take me to a little sub homepage. Remember how we were talking about that data sphere, kind of all these different little things? What we're doing is we're basically saying, I need to go to this parts section. What is my inventory? Now the word parts, currently I have it called part number. This is a corp-wide setting, okay? So we can allow you to change this. What is, just for fun, and we're going to do this on our own as well, but what would you like to change that to? I just want to show you that your general inventory pool deals with your parts section. What are my widgets? What are my items? What are my...
Okay, so if I were selling something at a herbal shop, then I would have something like bottles, 1 ounce, amber bottles.
Okay, correct. So what you would need to do is before you say amber bottle 1 ounce, you would actually need to go a little higher than that.
What do bottles?
You probably would call yours products, okay?
Okay.
Like, so instead of part number, you would say product number, okay? And then within that, you would say, what kind of a category do I need? Oh, I'm going to have bottles, I'm going to have powders, I'm going to have raw, or whatever. And so then what you do is like, okay, under bottles, then I'm going to add the 1 ounce type thing, okay? Do you want me to do your demo real quick here?
Sure.
Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to kind of fly a little bit, but we're going to go to corp-wide settings. We're going to change part number to products, okay? And then we'll actually add a little product category and go from there. So I'm going to go home, and I'm going to jump into the corp-wide settings. There's tons of different ways. Please don't worry about like, what's he clicking on? Well, there are multiple ways around this thing, and the more you know that, the more you're like, okay, cool, I'll just learn what I feel comfortable with, and then we'll go from there. Corp-wide settings, we'll come down here and we'll start saying, okay, let's take a look at what we have. And I may have already skipped it, it's probably at the top. So, packing lists. Maybe I have not done that. Anyway, these are the settings. Okay, parts. So we want to call it products, right? And an abbreviation for that, we'll call it prod, and we'll call it
Probably just product, wouldn't it be product number?
yeah, we'll do that here in just a second.
Oh.
And we'll call this one product. Okay, cool. So what we're doing is we're just going to update some settings here, okay? So now if I go to that same spot again, say I'm back at the chooser, and I wanted to click on my parts and general inventory page, when I click on it, it's going to now say products in general inventory. And what is my product number? Like, we basically start cascading the thing across the system, okay? So because we don't really have this thing set up, I can't really sell it yet. It doesn't exist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say add, edit, prod categories, okay? And we're going to put this one under bottles, okay? So basically, here's a whole bunch of different products or categories. We're going to create one called bottles. And if I misspell something, please don't blame me, okay? Add the category. Bloop. So basically, it exists now. It's called bottles, right? In the background, and this is important, just especially for this class, not necessarily for a demo. If I mouse over it, I get an ID number, 2644. Guess what the computer does behind the scenes? It remembers that number. In English, you call it products, but the computer's like 2644. Like it has to be kind of like almost robotic. That's actually how things get connected. But in our minds, we call it bottles. Watch this. Now what we're going to do And once again, we'll show you lots of different ways to do this. What's the vendor that we want to put this thing under? Where are we getting this particular bottle from? Is this internal? Is this
Specialty bottle company.
a special?
Specialty bottle company.
Awesome. So I'm going to just do a vendor search real quick to see if we have specialty in there. I know we don't, but SPEC, okay? I'm not even going to spell the whole thing out. Go. Do we have anything? And what it does is it says, oh, I don't have anything. I need to add a new vendor. Click. Add vendor. SPEC, how do you want to spell it?
IALT1.
Specialty.
No, you asked the wrong person.
I know. This is where I actually got my spelling from right there. Okay, and do we want to call it Specialty Bottle-Bees or?
Bottle company, yeah.
Okay, and what's a fictitious address? 101 South?
Sure.
And a city. Some city? And any state and fictitious zip. Okay, if we wanted to, we could add account numbers, flag 1099, email, address, whatever, etc. So anything that has a little asterisk by it, I need it. And if I don't have it, it'll prompt me for it. So watch this. If I skip this zip code right here and I try to submit this, I would assume that I would actually get, hey, I need it. I need a zip. Like basically, it should help you know what you're doing. So it lightly walks you through it. Okay. So if I go back here and I just put that zip in, and then I say, okay, add the payee, it'll basically be like, hey, cool. Your payee's now added. Here's its new ID number, and it has a number of options up here. What do you want to do with this thing? And we just say, yep, we want to create a new PO. So now we're virtually taking a vendor, watch this, vendor, and we're going to tie it to a PO. We're starting to connect objects now, okay?
So is vendor and payee, is that the same thing then?
Well, often we have to pay our vendors, okay? So the reason it has the word payee on it is often you have to pay them, okay? Just so that you know, a user is also a payee. So if you have an employee, how are you going to pay them? The expense receipt, where we actually have money going out, it needs to be tied to some sort of either a vendor, a payee, or a user. So what we do is we say, okay, we'll call this all kind of general payee. This is a user payee, this is a vendor payee. It's kind of basically eventually we might have to pay them. Okay, that's why it's called a payee. Perfect. So PO types. You can come in here and you can click it and we're going to say, hey, we're going to basically just do a received order. And I'm just going to be really general right here, but you can be as specific as you want. Got some bottles. And do we know how much this was, or are we going to build this on the fly?
$53.
Okay, perfect. So we say $53, and we do have these in my possession. If we don't, all it would do is just kind of create the holding. Like, hey, eventually I'm going to be part of this right here, or I was requested or ordered. But we're going to physically build these items so that I can sell them out. Okay. So we have a PO. I have a brand new ID number. This doesn't mean anything, but to the system, this is its life right here, okay? So PO number 42 is going to be connected to Specialty Bottle-Bees Company. Currently, I have 0 line items, 0 payments, 0 age. Like you can go back and forth, whatever you needed to do. Just to kind of get you a look at it, it has an add form, a search form, whatever, but we don't have. What would you like to call this particular product? We've already set up that we're going to call it products. It's going to eventually be under bottles as the category. What do you want to call? What's the product number of this bottle?
Like, are we talking like 1 ounce amber bottles? Is that
Is
we're
that what you
down
would
to
call
that
it?
point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're down to that.
Perfect. So let's just go.
So you're just creating this PO after you already bought it? After you purchased it already?
Correct, and depending on, so here's where it kind of gets to that little thing, okay? Are we just loading the system, or is this a real life thing, okay? When I'm saying that little thing, it may not be this perfect parallel thing. Do I really have it, do I not? Am I just setting this up? Like, you need to kind of make some decisions here, and don't get too stressed about that, I think. What I'm gonna do is I just call it, you said 1 ounce?
Yeah.
So let's go one Oz amber bottle. Search products. Hey, I can't find it for that vendor. Well, great, let's add it. So basically, in your map, here's what's happening. Okay? The vendor is connected to the PO. All of a sudden, it's saying, let's see what I have in my general inventory pool. I don't have it. So what it does is it's making this connection, and we're going to take a temporary step, and we're going to actually create that little item. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to say add new product. It automatically pulls in the part number that you told it, and we are going to come up here and we're going to say, I'm going to do this to bottle, and we want to go 1 ounce. Okay, so this is different. This is a description versus a product. I would recommend that you keep your product numbers like as simple as possible. Don't use special characters. These are things you're searching like all the time, or you may even have issues by a vendor, or you can create your own. We're creating our own.
Okay, so I noticed in the product number, you're using it like it is a web address, where you're not putting any spaces. Is that on purpose?
Correct. So the product number, eventually I will be searching by this. Okay, this is what I want to record this says. I can eventually search by this description, but the product number, this is like the part number. Okay,
So you use it on the quick search up there?
you could use it on a quick search. You could use it on different things. Usually you don't want your actual product number. Okay,
Right.
like this is what I want to call this thing. It's the short condensed version of it. And if you want 255 characters, that's a whole paragraph if you want. This is great for this. It comes with a cord. Like, does that make sense? Like, you can put that whole thing in the description.
Okay.
You don't want to put that in the product number or the part number. Okay. Basically, there's some secondary things you can do here, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. How much are these babies a piece? And how many do we have, actually? How many are we ordering?
50.
50? Okay. 50. And so if we're trying to get back to $53, I'm assuming that it's going to be probably $1, and then there's going to be $3 shipping or something like that. Okay. So I'm going to put $1 here. I didn't have to put any sort of thing. Now, how much do you want to sell these for? Do you want to calculate the sales price, or do you want to say, no, I sell these bottles every single time for $2.50?
Sure.
Okay, that's called a sale price. Basically, at this point, you have to make a decision. It's this little line right here. It's trying to help you. It's currently saying, hey, we're currently saying, I'm going to calculate it on the fly and do a 1.87 markup. This is a setting. So I can technically say, hey, I want a 2.5 markup on everything, or I want a 2.25 markup, or whatever. Then I could do it. Or you could be like, no, I want it exactly $2.95. I don't care what it is. And it'll actually help you figure out what your percentage is. Let's call it $2.95, okay? Watch this. Oops. So we'll go 2.95, and then watch this. As soon as I change this right here to sale price, it'll actually flip it right up here, okay? It's basically saying that here's the profit that I would be making, and here's what my margin would be, and so my markup would be this type of deal, okay? If this is going to be done as an each, like you could literally say, hey, what's my unit of measurement? Is it each, inches, ounces? This particular would be an each because it's off. Okay, we're going to leave it on each. You can do weight, bin numbers, barcodes, a bunch of different things here. And we basically say add the product. So now at this point, we're still on PO number 42. We took a little sidestep, okay? We were a vendor, PO, we searched for the part that wasn't there, so we had to kind of do a little miniature piece right there to add it, and then we're right back to the PO. Does that make sense how we're kind of bouncing there? So right now, we're getting close. We're getting close. Here's what we have. We're still in the edit mode. So if I scroll down, it looks like we're missing $3 here. So what I would probably do is I would probably come down here and say, hey, received one, $3, and we're going to just call this some freight. Let's go freight. Whatever you want to do, you can tell the story or whatever. And once I say add the item, click. I now have a $53 PO. The line items, the sum of the line items, all of these things that are extended prices and costs add up to $53. And I have it's basically ready. So like this PO is ready now. I can sell you bottles. I've just created that into the general inventory pool. If I go to search my inventory pool, it'll actually tell me how many of those I have. So say for instance, I was going right here, say I click on product and I type in 1OZ. That's short for my 1 ounce bottle, okay? It found me my 1 ounce amber bottle with my description. Currently says I have 50 of them, okay? So it's automatically sucked it into there. So we basically loaded that side of the equation, but guess what also happens on the accounting side? Somewhere we're gonna have to pay for that. So that PO that we just created, was it 34? I can't remember what the number was.
53.
53? That little PO is now sitting over that one that Sherry wanted us to ask for. Watch this. So if I go to the chooser, automatically, and I hit on that AP waiting room, I'm gonna see one called Specialty Bottle Company for $53. It automatically gets routed over there because it's like, hey, I don't know how I got paid for it. You just enter it. The goal is you enter it as quick as you can on the operations side. Bam, 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 bam. I got it. And then what happens is, okay, got all these pieces. Now let's start pushing them through. So eventually, if I wanted to, and you don't even have to do this part of it, like if you choose to never even touch the accounting part of Atlas, you can walk away, and this right here just, okay, I guess at some point somebody's going to pay for me. It's not required. Like basically, you could just hammer that PO in, and then instantly start selling these things, and it would start decrementing or decreasing your inventory. So we just created a little PO. You want to do the rest? Who wants to click on a shopping cart and like, let's sell some of these bottles?
Sure.
Okay,
Let's do it.
perfect. So there's tons of different ways you can do it. I can come up here and I can say invoice new. I can do, there's tons of ways. Say I go home and I click on retail quick cart. Okay, it's ready for me to do this. I'm going to actually type the word bottle. It could be 1OZ, it could be amber, I could search anything I wanted to. Let's actually do amber because I might have some other fun things in there. Oh, it didn't, it just had one. Okay, so basically I just did a quick little search. I know that I have a shopping cart started because I see it up here at the top of my cart. And it basically says, hey, I have 0 items in my cart. But the cart is huge, and we will talk more about this, but this is the interface between your customer and how you get things in and out of the system. Okay, so here, basically this was just the search results. Hey, I've got this, and I currently have 50 of them. How many of these guys do we want to add? 20. 20, no problem. So all you would do is you would physically just go 20, add that to the cart. It pulls it in and says, hey, it looks like your total is $59. Your tax is $407. Your total is $6307. Would you like to add anything else with this?
Remember, refresh my spot.
Okay, so well, this is fun, and because we're doing a demo, watch this. This is kind of funny. But say we go recipe, and I go something like this. Let's do the combo meals. She wanted a hamburger, French fries, and the thing. So here's the Big Mac sandwich. Which pieces would you like? Would you like ketchup? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, great. Mustard.
Yeah.
Okay, cheese.
Yeah.
And lettuce.
Yes.
And pickles.
Yes.
And onions.
Sure.
Okay, great. And medium fries, is that okay?
Yes.
And a drink. Are you okay with that?
Nah.
No drink. No problem. We'll just decrement that to 0. Do the bill. Okay, your new cart comes to a total of $67.08, and I now have that you have 20 amber bottles, 1 Big Mac sandwich, 1 bun, 1 like I'm just teasing right here. This is just a demo, but like you said, you wanted a Big Mac thing, so we just did it. That's called a recipe and a build. So if you look at your little thing, what we did is instead of adding 1 item at a time, you said you wanted this, and I had preloaded it. Okay, like this, I didn't even know you were going to ask that. I just did it for fun, like just playing. But you said it, like, hey, I happen to know about that in there. But I just
a recipe that would be something where you would get something and you usually add these on, and people do it all the time, so you just already put it in there. So
groups, kits. So this is really interesting. Look at this. Hidden. However, it shows. So when I actually create your invoice, watch this right here. Let's go up here just to show you for fun. Guess what? I've got 1 amber bottle, Big Mac sandwich, and a medium fry.
Oh, cool.
Okay? So like, this is way advanced. We just instantly went from selling amber bottles to But I just wanted to show you that basically what I had done is the real invoice is holding those pieces like, yes, lettuce, yes, onions, yes. So technically I'm tracking inventory if I want to, okay? But I show it to you, once again, smoke and mirrors, as far as like what is the view of that particular thing. That's funny, thank you for bringing that up. Like, I just wanted to do a quick demo on selling something, but you said, while you're at it, why don't you add this? But thank you, that was kind of fun.